But let's move on. I want to talk about the fucking Last of Us. So specifically in regards to the Last of Us, many people ordered the Firefly edition of the Last of Us, which, if you don't know, the physical version of this is The Last of Us Part 1 remake, by the way, which just came out, very polarizing. And I thought this was insane that you had to get it.
These are fucked up looking.
You had to get it from the PlayStation Store, as you can. I pull up the webpage here. It's out of stock. You know, it sold out pretty quick. If you look on eBay, it's being scalped to shit. So this is pretty highly desired.
Surprisingly.
And if I saw this online personally from a decent amount of people, I had a lot of pictures, but here's a website that has some. Sony has said, so they ruined the package for a lot of these people. Like, this isn't awful, but still beat up anyway. It's brand new, so it shouldn't look like that. I'm just showing my audience here. This is one of the tweets I had saw. This is a $100 collector edition, by the way. And the way that they package some of these things is honestly so fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
now,
from what I've seen, all they put it in was like a thin paper envelope, didn't they?
Right, yeah.
Oh, God.
Now, the worst part of this, though, and the reason I brought this up is because Sony has said that they're not going to replace these, which I thought was fucking ridiculous. So they say, here's this article. It says, worse still, I'm reading in the middle of the article, the fact that Sony is not going to replace the damaged copies. Twitter user Ains, whose damaged copy you can see in the tweet above, the one I just showed, managed to chat with PlayStation support and was told there is no option for replacement. Instead, he was offered a 20% off voucher for a future purchase. I suspect many gamers will be demanding a full refund if they can't get a replacement, which will hopefully make someone at Sony realize they need to produce more copies and pick. Yeah, this is awful. This is a fucking... I mean, if you're a fan of this is kind of a disaster. This is not like a big gaming news story that came out. It only affected a certain amount of people, you know, so I'm not trying to act like, whoa, what a big fucking deal. Sony really fucked up big time, but I just find it, like, you know, utterly ridiculous. And on top of that, you know, I want to give some thoughts on The Last of Us real quick. Just because, like, you know, the remake did come out and whatever. Which I did not buy. I don't plan on it right now.
I did not buy it either.
I have seen so much discourse over this game, over, like, whether it's a remake, whether it's necessary, all that stuff. You know, in the past, well, really, what was it, month and a half ago, they officially announced it, even though we kind of all knew it was coming. I was just going to throw my 2 cents in there and just say, like, I'm one of the people that I don't believe this was necessary. I think this is fucking stupid. I don't know why they're remaking The Last of Us Part 1. My best guess, they're going to remake Part 2. And then you'll have even less to, like, you know, I still don't... And it sold pretty decent, you know, because it is The Last of Us, and it's a big series. For anybody that's just like, well, it's not like a remaster, it's a remake. I'm like, it's only a remake in its technicality that they built it from the ground up. And a lot of people are like, yeah, they built it from the ground up, so it plays a little different, does different things here, it looks better here, but it looks worse in some areas and stuff, you know, whatever. So it is a different experience. But I'm like, okay, but 2 things. 1, no, we don't fucking need this. The Last of Us on the PS4, which is backwards compatible, is perfect. It's fine. It's perfect. We didn't need, like, a nice graphical fucking upgrade for another $70 fucking dollars. On top of that, fuck 80 if you want that digital deluxe. On top of that, for the people who are trying to claim that, you know, because it was built from the ground up, it's like completely different and stuff. No, it's fucking not. They literally just mimicked it like a Blue Point game. It's like the new Demon Souls. It's hardly different. Now, that game looks amazing, though, compared to the original Demon Souls. That game had a nice upgrade. It could have used it, especially since Demon Souls was stuck on the PS3, a console that is notoriously hard to get, backwards compatibility for. If you could play Demon Souls online through your PS4 or PS5, I don't know if you could. My best guess is that you had to do it through streaming, not download, which is fucking awful, especially in a game like Demon Souls. This is just like, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it at all. It hasn't even been 10 years since the one on the PS3 came out. I know I'm kind of regurgitating points that people online have already made. There was one other thing I wanted to say, but I lost my train of thought too.
You wanna hear something even crazier about this game that makes it even worth less than the $70 price tag they're putting on it?
What's that?
They've actually removed an important part of the game from that was in previous releases. This game on the PS5 does not have multiplayer.
Yeah, which, I mean, I know the multiplayer wasn't great. It was kind of a whatever.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but that right there is even more content that they're actually taking out of the game,
right?
And increasing the price. Like,
this series has honestly become one of the grossest fucking series right now. I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 I can forgive just because it's just like, well, it's just a story. People didn't like the story a decent amount. It's kind of a polarizing in terms of its story more so than anything. Should I even say spoilers at this point? Has it been long enough? I don't know. But basically the shock of the story and how much of a departure it is from the first game, is really something else.
Yeah.
I think that their, creator, the writer and director, whatever, Neil Druckmann, he's kind of polarizing to some. I personally don't dislike him like other people do, but what was, I saw he said something.
Recently or just?
Oh my God. Something on Twitter that kind of made me lose a little bit of. That's what it was. His fucking quote. This was from 2018. I didn't even see this until recently. Because personally, like with the whole, like, Last of Us 2 stuff with people not liking the story, I was like, I don't really give a fuck. Like, it didn't make me hate Neil Druckmann. It didn't make me hate him because he maybe consulted Anita Sarkeesian. I really don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't. But the one part that really drove me fucking nuts. So he had this quote. The quote is, that, and I'm trying to find the exact context, but here's the headline where he says, "We don't use the word fun," says The Last of Us 2's director, Neil Druckmann.
I remember that.
Yeah. And this is, I assume he's referring to like how dark The Last of Us 2 was supposed to be. He says, "For us, The Last of Us, specifically Uncharted, is a little different in our creative approaches. We don't use the word fun. We say engaging, and it might seem like a minor distinction, but it's an important one for us." Okay. I want to make an argument about general video game, like development. And I know a lot of people are like, probably thinking like, what does this guy know? He doesn't develop video games. I bet you, I fucking guarantee I know a hell of a lot more about the world of gaming than Neil Druckmann. Because while he does work on games, and he's a director/writer or whatever, he is not actually somebody who tends to be the one who is developing the game. He tends to be
the director.
Right, he's the one who writes the story. He's the one who gets the direction of that stuff. He's more of the guy who's involved with the cinematic process and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
that's why people attacked him so much whenever the second game came out, is because he was the one who came up with all that shit.
Right. Did he come up with the first game too, though? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he did. Whatever. He might have had some
I don't have a problem with Neil Druckmann, but I do have a problem with that fucking statement. Jesus Christ. What is up with this new trend of, like, Death Stranding had this I'll never let them live that down. That PlayStation Life review that's like, it's not really a fun game, but 9 out of 10. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, games are, in my opinion, is just me, but for a game to be engaging, it needs to be fun. What kind of a fucking game is boring or bad and yet still engaging? I almost feel like if that's a scenario where it's like you have to make it engaging, or
that argument might get a little subjective in some areas.
Yeah, it definitely can, but I think generally speaking, when you're talking about making a fucking game, when you're in the middle of making it, that's not something you come out and like, what the it's stupid.
No, yeah, that's
dumb,
true.
Terrible argument.
No, you don't.
But anyway, we believe that if we're invested in the character and the relationships and their goal, then they're going to go along with the journey with them. Not if the gameplay fucking sucks, which it doesn't, though. The Last of Us gameplay is good. But a big part of it is the story, so, whatever. He's lucky the gameplay's good, because I wouldn't give a fuck if it was, like, I'm not just playing it for the story only, although it is the biggest appeal to The Last of Us. You got to understand that one of the other reasons it succeeded is because the gameplay was also really good to go along with it. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. I really wasn't a big fan of that quote. I'd have
Whoa.
Well,
wow. Oh, I'm just... Because you mentioned it, so I started looking up games with, like, great stories but terrible gameplay as, like, that sort of the whole thing where it's like, they don't use the word fun, but you need to have your games be fun in order for them to be quote-unquote engaging, as well as, like, keeping the people playing. And I was looking at this list, and at number 3, they have Nier in that spot.
Great story, but terrible gameplay?
Yeah.
Like the original Nier?
Yeah, 2010.
I've never played the original version of it, but I can tell you that the remake has fantastic gameplay. So, and actually, if anything, the story is what's up. It's a little choppy in the original one because there's a lot of good ideas, but some of it feels kind of just chopped up. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, it's still a good story, but
yeah. Damn. I just was looking that up and couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I don't know.